On Fanalysis, we take the stats born in fantasy football combined with the latest betting trends to find the sharpest angles every week. And that's where we turn to the lead betting analyst from Pickswise, Jared Smith. Time to talk about the Jets again, and the Jets coming off a victory, and now they've got themselves in a position where they're thinking, maybe we're a better team than we originally thought. Still, Vegas doesn't see it that way. They are 3.5-point home dogs to the Dolphins. Is there anything in this game that you like right now?
Well, it's kind of funny because in the offseason, this line was 3. And that was assuming Tua was going to be playing. So what the books are telling me, and what I've gleaned from some of my research this week and some of my correspondence with some of the bookmakers here in town, not a huge drop-off between Tua and Teddy Bridgewater, at least not in the line. And I think it makes sense if you think about who Teddy Bridgewater has been throughout his career. You will hear this number a lot throughout the course of the week on any betting show that certainly talks about this game. 43-21 against the spread. That's what Teddy Bridgewater has done. Teddy covers. It's been fantastic. But let's take a closer look. Most of the time, he's an underdog in these spots because he's filling in for a starter, or again, he hasn't been that high-profile quarterback throughout his time in the NFL. So most of the time, 36 out of those games, more than half, have been as an underdog. He's 27-9 as a dog. 16-11 as a favorite. So you can see how that success rate, which has been very strong and something that's definitely noteworthy, hasn't quite been the narrative when Teddy Bridgewater is supposed to win. That's what's supposed to take place this Sunday at MetLife. The Dolphins are favored in this game by more than a field goal. They are supposed to win this game. Well, got to give love to Zach Wilson. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that through the first 3 quarters against the good but not great Steelers defense, a little bit undermanned right now, he was the 31st out of 33 graded quarterbacks with his EPA plus CPOE, and that's not good. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he wakes up, 3rd highest EPA plus CPOE grade in the final quarter. Maybe that's kind of the vibe we're going to see from Zach Wilson. Inconsistency, still learning how to play in the NFL, but the flashes of brilliance. And if we get those flashes of brilliance at the right time, with guys like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall kind of filling in these offensive roles, I think this Jets team is pretty dangerous, and I think they're going to be underdogs, and a very plucky underdog at that, in a lot of games this year, including this one. Yeah, on Jets Late Night this week, Jay Fiedler, former NFL quarterback, said that Zach Wilson has his timing. This is the first time that he's seen him with proper timing, taking the 3 steps back and hitting the guy on the run. That's exactly what you want to see out of a quarterback that's trying to take that next step. And he's going to be facing a Dolphins team that is the 2nd worst pass defense in the NFL. This seems like there is a good opportunity here for the Jets offense to show some life. Totally agree. Not only that, Byron Jones still not ready to come off the PUP list. Very talented number 2 corner in this Dolphins rotation. The top corner, Xavier Howard, nicked up with a groin injury, didn't practice on Wednesday. We'll see what his status is heading into the weekend. On the offensive side, Jalen Waddle, Terron Armstead also missing practice this week. That's your best receiver, maybe second best, 1A, 1B with Tyreek Hill, and your best offensive lineman, protecting Teddy's backside there. So this is a very interesting spot for the Jets. Now, on the flip side, Dwayne Brown, who the Jets signed to bring in to replace Mekhi Becton, apparently he was designated for a return from the IR. I think you might know more about his injury status this week, but that's a name to keep in mind to solidify what's been a bit of a leaky offensive line for the Jets through the first 4 weeks. There are a lot of positive things to like about the Jets offense against the Dolphins defense. That's 27th in EPA per play, better against the run, but 32nd, last in the NFL in dropback success rate. Over 52% of dropbacks against this Dolphins defense have been graded successful this season. Very, very interesting spot for, again, and I trust Jay Fiedler a lot, an offense that is starting to get some timing with Zach Wilson. If timing is everything in life, maybe this is the right time to jump on the Jets as a home underdog. Well, the question now is this the right time to jump on the other New York team? What's amazing is there are actually only 8 teams in the NFL that have a winning record, and one of them is the New York Football Giants. They are getting 8 points against the Packers in London. Now, here's the thing. The Giants are 3-1.
but they have the second worst offensive grade in the entire NFL. What are you believing? Are you believing the numbers? Is there any scrap of evidence that points you towards the Giants or even suggests that you might even want to play this game?
I don't like betting the London games, frankly. And it has nothing to do with the matchups. It has nothing to do with the odds, the numbers. It's just there's an unknown variable of travel and routine that is very difficult to handicap. There are certain teams that handle it very well. There are others that don't. And we've never seen the Packers travel across the pond. I think the Giants have, but not under this regime, obviously, with Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones. So I think it's a very tough ask to try to predict which team will be better prepared for the increased amount of pregame media they're going to be doing. I'm sure they'll have going out to London and getting all the sights and the sounds and all. You know, that is a different vibe for what is used to a very regimented week for these teams. Who handles that better? You would think it's Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but again, Packers have kind of been sleepwalking through the first few weeks of the season. Got beat up against the Bucs, and you know, I know that they won that game, but it was a very close game where they didn't score a lot of points. And the next week they get blasted by New England. They almost lost another close game to a third-string quarterback. They've kind of been walking the tightrope, and this is a Packers offense that runs at a snail's pace. They are last in neutral situation pace this year, which basically means you're tied, or maybe you have a slight lead, or you're slight, decline, or slightly behind on the scoreboard, and it's early first, second, third quarter. And that tells me this game's going to be played at a very slow, meandering pace. The Giants don't really like to push the tempo. Daniel Jones a little bit banged up. I'm kind of talking myself into the under more and more throughout this handicap. But overall, I feel like this is a stay away game. Maybe a first half under, starts a little slow in London there, and then maybe things pick up in the second half. But very difficult to handicap games that take place across the pond.
You are right, though. The Giants actually have gone to London twice already, so maybe they have a blueprint for this. And if you want to talk about which coaches have really kind of stepped up this year, I think Brian Daboll certainly has his team playing as good as they possibly can, because they're staying in games as long as they possibly can. But I get it. Not every game is a game you want to play. That is a look at how the Jets and the Giants games. We'll be taking a closer look at those. But make sure you check out our other segment, our best bets and teasers. For Jared Smith of Pickswise, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.